Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's been a while since I had a formal stream, but here we are, Patronistas number 11. I'm so excited to start this mini series off with a great host today. We're going to talk about the 2022 Colombian elections. Obviously, they're going to be happening in a year from now, and there's been a lot of talk and hubbub on Twitter specifically. I've seen a lot of developments, a lot of controversy, a lot of talk, and I'm so thankful and blessed to have one of the all-time most controversial Colombian Twitter users, Richi Zuluaga. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hey, it's nice to listen to you. Say hello to everybody right there. It's really great to talk about in my country about the elections. It's happened a very big deal right now. Colombia is right now in a twist. Colombia is in a very relevant important moment because we can change everything, and there is a very important challenge right now, and it's really nice to talk with you about these topics.
All right, great, perfect. So, tell us more about yourself politically. Where do you stand on the political spectrum? What are your ideas, and how do they influence the way you're going to vote for this upcoming election?
Well, I am very moderate. For me, always the freedom is the base of every ideological movement. Then I think that I'm a lover of the freedom. I think I'm not libertarian because this ideology is more than like anarcho capitalism. Then I am more a social liberalism, and that's a very difficult to explain to to a lot of people. But I believe in freedom. I believe in the freedom in the economy and in the rights of the people. I think that every person has the right to become anything that the person want to be. And I think that the right try to be a very liberal in economy, but when you are talking about the rights, when you're talking about what's going on, when your desires with the religion is putting this right in a direction that I don't like. And in the other side, the left or this socialism, they think in collectivism. They think that everybody is equal and you have to be equal, and I don't like this because I sorry, because I have I have just realized that the life, the justice is great, and the inequality is justice, because some people want to have a very big effort. Some people want to do a lot more, and the justice is that these people could have more for this effort. And this is not good. It's not good for the freedom. It's not good for the economy. It's not good for anything. That everybody receive the same. That's not a good idea. And we are now understanding that all these collectivism processes in Russia and Vietnam and in China, and right now, for example, in Latin America, Cuba, not good option. Not a good option, because you need freedom to compete, and competition is the magic thing. Is the tool that let all the people to develop itself, and the markets help you to take advantage of a lot of things. But if you think in centralism, if you think in a big states controlling everything, no, that thing doesn't work, and we know that. Then I am between that and these two options: the right, the freedom, the free market, and in the other side, the socialism, a big state. And I think that in the middle, there is the answer. And the point is, I don't. The point is to understand that you need an state. You need a state, a good state, an efficient state that deliver to you the basic things, but you need free market. You need people developing products, developing a lot of things. And I think that in the middle, you can find that a state that it's helping you to have a good education, helping to regulate the big companies, to avoid monopolies and everything like this. And thinking in that freedom is the most important. Then you need a government that help you to have your freedom, that help you to have security, and you can stay safe. You can walk safe in your city, in your country, that protect your borders to a legal immigration. That thing. Then I think I am in the middle. I am a social liberal, and I prefer a world with freedom that a world with a dictatorship that everybody has the same. I don't like that.
Right, very interesting. And I'm assuming that based on what you said on the social aspect, I guess you would call yourself a liberal, you're a progressive, pro LGBT, pro minorities, pro that type of thing.
No, in that case, for me, it's very important that everybody has the right to become anything, obviously without causing damage to other people, right? Then for me, the homosexuality, the pro minorities is very relevant. And I think that to discuss right now about homosexuality, that doesn't not have no sense, no sense at all, because now we know that a lot of people want to stay near to a person with the same sex, and we don't have trouble with that. We don't have trouble that you be in a marriage with a person like you. I think that I'm so pro these kind of things. The only thing that for me is very difficult it's abortion, because I am pro I am pro freedom of the woman, then from the women. And I don't like that a girl that doesn't want to have a child because doesn't want it, rape something, something that is not good, and this woman decide to not to have this child. And I think it's I don't like that. I think that is a bad choice, a bad decision. But I think that nobody have to be in a jail because a girl doesn't want to have a child. That's a very it's one of the most difficult debates inside me, because for me, I don't want I don't like the abortion. But I I am I am very close to the idea that freedom is important, and a girl has to be free to decide if she wants to have this child. And that's the only thing. In the other things, and free, in adoption, free adoption, okay, with controls, obviously. But the same sex couple, don't worry, they can adopt. Uh, One person can adopt any possibility if the person, of if the couple uh, feel some requirements, of course. But I think that it's very important to be very open mind in these topics, because legalization of a lot of things could be the door to regulate. And regulate, you can put taxes, and if you can put good taxes to things that you can regulate in a good way, you can help the state, the government, and the people could be free without to go to the illegal markets, to the black markets. And I think that it's better to have legal markets, regulated legal markets, when you can tax them, and everybody could enter in these markets without to go under the table, to go with a criminal approach to these markets. I think the black markets is very sad. Obviously, when it's criminal, like extortion, things like that. I don't respect that. I think that we have to fight without against this kind of black markets. But if there is a market that nobody is having is passing that is having damage, I think that that market must be free and regulate must more than free, must be regulated and legal. That's my opinion.
Cool, cool. So, with all those political views that you have in mind, how have they influenced who you're going to vote for? So, who's your favorite candidate, or who's your favorite coalition? Because we're starting to see a lot of coalitions prop up in the Colombian electoral sphere. I saw the two big ones, not including Uribismo because that's kind of like its own thing. But you had the Coalición de la Esperanza, or I think they changed it to Experiencia. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. And then you have the Pacto Histórico. So if I'm not mistaken, the Coalición de la Esperanza and Experiencia, they're kind of like the center, almost center left coalition. And the Pacto Histórico, I guess you consider that the far left coalition that is centered around Gustavo Petro. And from what I've seen on your Twitter account, and just a good question, you don't mind me linking your Twitter account, right? So people can like follow you on Twitter and see what you're all about.
Of course, of course. I love Twitter. I love the debate that you can find in Twitter. And the point here is that we have four big forces right now in Colombia. We have, of course, the Uribismo, and we have this group of people close to the far right. Now the government is not close to far right; it's more just right, sometimes mid right. But this is the biggest group in Colombia in political ideas, because 20 years leading the political view, the political presidential elections, they are the biggest. But 20 years in the government and 20 years being the most important group, of course there is a how can I say that, they are decreasing the the
Their
acceptation.
influence,
Yeah, the influence. And I think that the people is tired. The people is tired of the Uribismo right now.
I
They think
have
that
noticed
it's
that.
it's enough. It's enough. A lot of people is just saying, yeah, it's enough, no more Uribismo. And I think that's one of the big things, one of the big issues. And a lot of people is just
Hello?
hello. Then
There you go.
this
One second.
this big group that is decreasing in the influence. Then a lot of people from the right is just becoming a group. And the very interesting thing is a lot of ex mayors. They are becoming a very interesting group in the mid right, and they are calling themselves coalition of the experience, la coalición de la experiencia, the experience coalition. And the point is that they are a coalition, right? And they are a lot of ex mayors with good experience, with good results. And Bogotá ex mayor Peñalosa, Medellín ex mayor Federico Gutiérrez Fico, Alex Char Barranquilla, former mayor, is in the coalition too. That is very interesting, this coalition, because they are they are people, they are leaders that they demonstrated the ability to lead, to government. Then they have a good option. And the Uribismo, the far right, they are close, but they are not inside the coalition, and that's very interesting. That's a poker move. That's a bluffing, because everybody knows that they are inside, but in the paper, or in the how can I say that? Yeah, but they are not inside totally. They are just in the room of the in
Like
the room next to
adjacent,
you.
in the periphery.
Yeah, in perfect. It's very interesting, that thing. Then these two groups could be together. These two groups could be together in a big election in a very poll the next year to define one candidate from these two groups. And it's very important because this candidate from these two groups has a very good option, has a really good option. And now Fico is one of the most interesting candidates in this group. And there is other person, Juan Carlos Echeverri, and former economy minister, that is a very interesting person. He's a PhD in economy, and he has a very good ideas. And I think he's one of the most interesting uh, candidates in this election because he has a philosophy degree too, and it's very open mind, very interesting. But he's not thinking in the legalization of drugs. He doesn't like drug legalization, and that's a point, a very difficult point, because we already understood that legalization is the path to avoid this problem, this criminalization in Colombia. But this other thing. Then we have these two groups in the right, in the far right, the Uribismo, in the mid right, in the right, this coalition of the experience. They are calling right now Equipo Colombia. Very interesting because it's a better name, but they are emulating, they are doing the same that the 4 years ago, Coalition Colombia. Very interesting. They are trying to look like the myth, like the center. Very interesting. This option. Very very interesting. And there is the center. There is the mid left. There is the center left, and in this option, there is a very interesting group with people with a lot of a good experience. Sergio Fajardo is the leader, and Sergio Fajardo, he was the governor of Antioquia, and he was the mayor of Medellin, and in both administrations, he did a good job, and he was decided like one of the best governors and mayors in their periods of time. Very interesting. He's a very interesting leader. He's mathematician. He's a politician, but a weird politician. He was 40. He was 44, 43, no, 43 years old when he began to be politician. Very interesting. Too old, and he changed Medellin. He transformed Medellin in a good way. He's the leader of this group, and next to him, there is Alejandro Gaviria. Alejandro Gaviria, he was the health care minister of the former president in Colombia, and he did a good job too. He he create a reform to decrease the prices of the drugs, of the legal drugs, of the medication in Colombia, and it was a very interesting idea. He did it. He did it, and he did a good job. And the ideas of Alejandro Gaviria, wow, his ideas are very interesting. He wrote a paper with 60 points with his ideology, and very interesting. Very very. I like it too much, and for me, he's one of the best candidates. He is my candidate right now, next to Sergio Fajardo and next to Carlos Amaya. Carlos Amaya is one of the leaders of the Green Party, and he's a ex governor of a very important department in Colombia, Boyacá, with good with a lot of influence in rural topics about agriculture and all these things. And very interesting. These three candidates for me, they are the best candidates. I think for me, I think they are strong, and they are creating a coalition. They are developing a very interesting group with ethics, with principles, and they are not just thinking in this election. They are thinking in a country project. They are thinking something go farther than just this election. And I like this. I really like this. And I'm not very close to ideas like mining or petroleum or fracking. With they don't like that. I'm geologist. I love these things like mining and fracking, and it's one of the things that I not too close with this group in these topics, but in the other two topics, in progressism, in freedom, in free markets, all these things, we are very relate, we very close with these options. And in the far left, there is this pacto histórico that is a
Richie,
very
just a minute. So the Coalición de la Esperanza would be considered the center left coalition, just like the Coalición de la Experiencia would be like the center right coalition. Am I correct in saying that?
yeah, you can call now Equipo Colombia this coalition of the experience to avoid these very close words like experience and in Spanish in English is not a problem because it's hope. It's hope coalition. How do you call that? Hope miss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You
coalición
can
de la
say the Coalition
esperanza.
for Hope. Yeah.
Yeah, the coalition for hope. And but in Spanish it's very difficult because esperanza and experiencia sounds
Yeah, they do sound very similar. Yeah.
the point is coalition equipo Colombia or coalición de la experiencia. They are in the mid, they are in the center, but they are close to the conservative party and the conservative ideology, and they are center right and centro esperanza, coalición de la esperanza. They are in the center. They are almost center, but they are now with Jorge Enrique Robledo, and he is a far left, not a far left. He's a left politician, and he puts a very strong movement to the left to this group. Then I think that this put this coalition in the mid center, in the center left, but they are really center because Alejandro Gaviria is next to the social liberalism, and Sergio Fajardo is next to the center right, and this put this coalition very close to the exact to the precise center, and it's very interesting. But to be simple is just right, Uribismo, mid right, center right, Equipo Colombia, Coalición de la Experiencia, mid left, center left, Coalición de la Esperanza, Centro Esperanza, and in the far left, in the left, this Pacto Histórico with very uh, dark persons related with the war, related with criminalism. It's very complicated, this group, and now they are doing coalitions on they are doing pacts like with people related to very bad things, and it's very weird because this group right now with Petro is the group with the biggest acceptation, with the biggest numbers.
Approval rate. Yeah, we call it approval rate. Yeah.
The approval rate is too high, and when you analyze when you
Richa, I'm losing you. Your connection's kind of going in and out. Hello? Or is it just me? Hello, Richie. I can't hear you, bro. Richie. Yeah, I think I lost the connection with him. I can't seem to hear him. But just to summarize what he was talking about, so it's kind of interesting how these two centrist coalitions have chosen their respective representatives because Enrique Peñalosa and Sergio Fajardo are often considered some of the best mayors we've ever had, um, and they represent different geographical parts of the country. So Peñalosa comes from Bogota, and he was the former mayor of Bogota, and there is this kind of mythos around him as the guy who built up Bogota from being like an 8 million strong shanty town to a more livable city. And I might be able to link you guys to a documentary on that. Let me see if I can. Let me link up with Richi here and tell him I can't hear him. And Sergio Fajardo is also considered one of the best mayors Medellin has ever had because, as you guys know, Medellin was a very dangerous city because that's where Pablo Escobar comes from and that's where he operated out of. And at one point, it was the murder capital of the world, like the most violent city in the entire world. And so when he became mayor and then governor, he kind of really calmed things down. Medellin is a much more livable city, and that can definitely be attributed to him. He definitely did a lot of work on that. So it's kind of interesting to see how these centrist coalitions are forming. Okay, Richie put the mute button. Let me see if he's. Hello? Still can't hear you. Maybe it's a device you've connected. Maybe like headphones, and sometimes that messes it up. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Richie, si quieres salga y vuelva a entrar y a ver si le sirve. Es que no sé si él me escucha. Richie, trate de salir y después entrar. Para ver si le sirve. Yeah, so as I was saying, these two coalitions kind of formed as a result of the kind of fatigue people have for Uribismo. People, it's kind of like it's a political ideology and a dynasty that has been ruling for pretty much going on for 20 years now. He was elected in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. And so, people are tired, both from the left and the right. And so we're seeing these coalitions spring up. Let me see if... Richie, look at your Twitter. Rich, I can't hear you, Richie. Try leaving the stream and try coming back. Maybe that'll work. And I wonder why he's having difficulties. It usually doesn't happen. Then no, the talk has been in English so far, so don't worry. And BHJ says I can't understand Colombian. It's not that hard. Come on, we do speak a little fast sometimes, but you just gotta learn how to deal with it. Let me see if I can. Richie, I'm gonna try to remove you and then bring you back. Maybe that works. And then, hello. Nope. Richie, do you have headphones on? Maybe try taking them off. Maybe that can work. Or maybe your mic settings are not working. Let me see if I could. Let me see. Edit his mic. Let me see. Richie, check your Twitter. Check your Twitter. There you go. So he left the stream. Hopefully he's gonna be able to come back. It was an interesting talk. He was giving us a good lecture on the development that has been going on with the 2022 elections. Kilo says, I understand, because real recognize real. You already know. Traté de entrar otra vez. Puede que sea la conexión su, o su configuración de micrófono. There you go. Oh, there you go. He's back. Let me see if it. All right. I think I can hear you now.
Yeah. Hi,
All right. Yeah. So there we
I'm
go. We're
listening to
back.
you.
We're back from our commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we were talking about Petro and how you said he was aligning himself with some very not likable people. I think the most recent development, this happened a couple of days ago. He apparently tried to align himself with this guy called Luis Perez, who is I think he's an accused or an actually a convicted paramilitary guy. Could you tell us more about that, please?
No. It's not. It's not. It's not. No. The point. He's not a criminal. He was a mayor. He's a former mayor, but he was related with a very big operation with paramilitarism in Medellin. The point is that he he was the mayor when this big operation with criminal groups go to a specific population in Medellin, and they do a massacre right there. And he was related to that operation. The name of the operation is Orion operation, and it's very sad for the people in Medellin because a lot of people died. A lot of people died in that military operation, and that's one of the things that a lot of people say, hey, what's going on? He's from the right because Luis Perez he was Uribista. He was in the far right. He is related with a lot of corruption, and now he's with this group that apparently is far left. It's very weird, and this is this is an issue that demonstrate that Petro is not a coherent person. He just want power. He's gonna do whatever to go to the office, and that's a big problem. That's a trouble because you know that when you have to do a lot of things to go to the office, to ride to the office, then you have to pay. And who is gonna be next to you? Who's gonna be the person that you are gonna pay for this ticket to the office? And that's the big question, and it's a question that his that their supporters don't want to answer. And it's a very good question because he is asking for help to people that is related with with the very very dark politics groups in Colombia, and that's a big question. He's going to do anything to go to the office to be the president. He's gonna do anything, and that's the big question.
And just for the audience, because Richie, a lot of these people aren't Colombians. And so we have to remind them that Gustavo Petro is an actual, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a former member of the M19 movement, which was a terrorist group back in the 80s and the 90s. So, I mean, this guy is not just some loony, crazy politician. He's also got a bit of a shady past. He has, as we say in Spanish, él ha militado in el terrorismo. Like, he's dabbed into terrorist groups. And so, that's the thing I don't quite understand. I think the reason people.
Neither do I. Neither do I, man. It's weird that in Colombia that we just want to avoid war. We want to pass to I don't know how can I say that, but we just want peace. And we if the people is asking for a former terrorists to be in the office. What the hell is going on? It's not a logical thing. It's not a thing that you say, okay, yeah, we need somebody with this past. No, 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 no. We need somebody with good experience, with good administration experience. We need a person with the knowledge to manage a country and to manage and to lead this very difficult and very conflicted country. And if you are choosing ex-terrorist, if you are choosing a former mayor, a bad former mayor, you're hey, what's going on here? It's not a logical thing, and that's the point. And for me, it's very weird. For me, there's no explanation that a lot of people is asking for a leader like him, and former terrorist, a former criminal. That's not very logical.
I would say, and this is from personal experience, so this is not studies, this is not something I've researched, but what I have noticed, because I have an uncle, and I would categorize him as a bit of a mamerto. If you guys don't know what a mamerto is what we call in Colombia like very far leftist type of people. And my uncle seems to be a very sort of anti-Uribista guy. He's former Navy as well, so he criticizes Uribe a lot based on his experience in the Navy and some of the things he saw. I'm assuming he did see some of the stuff that happened in the Falsos Positivos case, which we can talk about that in another stream because that's a whole nother story that we can get into. But he I noticed that, and he likes Robledo too. So maybe he might vote in the first round, and we can get into what your voting strategy is in a bit. But in the first round, I think he might vote for Coalición de la Esperanza, but then he's gonna vote for Petro because I did notice that a lot of people who voted for Petro in 2017 didn't actually vote for Petro. It was more a vote against Uribismo, and because in the way I voted last election was kind of the opposite of that. So in the first election, I didn't. Well, I voted, but it was a voto en blanco. So I voted. It was a null vote because I didn't. No one really appealed to me politically in the first round, and then in the second round or the runoff election, well, I voted for Duque not because I really liked Duque, but it was more of a vote against Petro. So that's what I think. That's the reason why I see people vote for Petro. As to why people vote for him in the first round, I have no idea. Maybe there's so many anti-Uribistas in Colombia right now that they've just committed themselves into thinking that Petro is the only guy that will defeat Uribismo, which is ridiculous because, as you've mentioned before, there are other options that you can take that don't include, aligning yourself or voting for this guy. So that's kind of my personal observation as to why people vote for Petro. But in any case, so the next question I wanted to ask you was, what is your voting strategy? So who are you going to vote for in the first round, and who are you going to vote for in the second round?
Good question. Good question. A difficult one because for me it's an all the time discussion with myself. It's a debate with myself. Okay, who is the best option? Which one? Which one is the best? And for me right now, it's Alejandro Gaviria. It was very difficult to accept that he was related to Cesar Gaviria, and former president, very very close to the corruption in the regions, in a lot of in states or departments in Colombia. And for me it was very very necessary that he, Alejandro Gaviria, said no to Cesar Gaviria. And he did it. And now for me, I'm very close right now to Alejandro Gaviria. Sorry. He's my candidate right now. But Sergio Fajardo, Sergio Fajardo is becoming very strong. He's doing a very good campaign. He's doing a very good and now it's a very very interesting option. For me, it's not the the main option, but it's right there in the top three. And the other person is Carlos Amaya. Carlos Amaya is an ex-governor, and he did it very well. And for me, these three people, they have a very good option. They are good one. They did a good job, and I think that the best issue here, the best thing is that they are a group. They are a collective leadership, and I think that's we need that right now in Colombia, because we are tired of these messiahs, with this person that they can do everything. They can change the world. That's bullshit. And we know that in a country of 50 million people, we need leadership with a different way, with a different view, a collective, a group of leadership. And I think that these three guys with good options, with good ideas, could be the best option for Colombia.
Okay, so just to summarize, so who are you most likely to vote for in the first round? Sorry, I didn't quite
In the
get
first round for me, okay, in the first round for me, Alejandro Gaviria. But I
Gaviria.
can't. But I have to vote for. I have to vote in the first consul, and the primaries. You call in the states. You call the primaries. First, we have to choose the candidate, and we have to go
Right.
to the primaries. And for me, I'm gonna vote for Alejandro Gaviria in the primary. But any person in this group, in the coalition of Hope Esperanza, in Centro Esperanza, any candidate of these three, maybe Robledo. No, I think that it's very difficult that he can win. But these three, any of these three that could won the primary, I will vote for him in the first round. Now in the second round, I think that anybody different to the populace, I think. But but for me, it's very difficult to vote for somebody related with the Uribismo right now. Then the second round, the runoff for you, how do you call that?
Yeah, yeah, we call it in English a runoff election. Yeah,
The
in
runoff.
Spanish it's
The
segunda
run
ronda. Yeah, yeah.
Segunda. The runoff for me, it's gonna be very difficult. I expect, I hope that I can vote for my candidate. My candidate is going to be the winner of this primary in the coalition of the Esperanza. But if we don't pass to the runoff, it's gonna be very difficult. In the first time, I think that anybody, not the populist.
That's going to be really interesting because I wonder if we're going to see a repeat of 2017 where we will have the Uribista candidate versus Petro again. Because my voting strategy is always going to be, and this is a very popular hashtag in Colombian Twitter, is cualquiera menos Petro, right? Just vote for literally anyone you want in the runoff election as long as it's not Petro. And we all kind of assume that Petro is going to go to the runoffs. He's done it already in 2017. It's unlikely that he won't. So Richie, if you were forced with a choice between another Uribista candidate and Petro again, would you vote in blanco or would you actually, as they say a lot in Colombia right now, tragarse el sapo and vote for the Uribista candidate? What would you do then?
Very very difficult question for me. With Uribista and Petro, for me that's white. That's I'm going to vote because I always try to vote, but I can't choose. I can't choose between these two far and extreme views of my country. For me, very difficult. I expect that maybe could be Equipo Colombia, somebody like Peñalosa, the ex mayor, the former mayor of Bogota, maybe like Fico, former mayor of Medellin, maybe Juan Carlos Echeverri, a good economy minister of the last governments of maybe I could vote for them. But if there is a Uribista, or there is Char, for example, Alex Char, that is, I don't like these people. No, it's very difficult for me to vote for them. Very, very difficult. I think that I prefer the white choice. How do you call the white in English? It's white.
No, no, don't say the white vote. No, do not say that. That's no. You would say like a blank vote or a null vote.
Blank, right? Like, white vote sound like a white person, like a
Yeah, I know.
supremacist.
I know, right? It's like,
The
oh
white
yeah,
vote,
that,
like
yeah,
the
that's
supremacist
gonna
vote.
be taken. That's gonna be taken out of context. Actually, well, like here's the real interesting thing, Richie, because
Yeah,
a lot of my
it's the
audience,
the blank the blank vote, the
yeah.
blank.
So my a lot of my audience is, as I said, they're Hispanic, but they don't speak a lot of Spanish, and they've been born and raised in the U.S. A lot of them, and so they have this kind of view of Hispanic politics that doesn't necessarily align with reality a lot of the time, and so a lot of Hispanics in the U.S. that have become politically aware, they're kind of they're very much in favor of caudillismo, the sort of messianic thing that you're very much against. So, for example, this comment here by BHJ says Colombian people need a caudillo. Anything else is garbage. What do you have to say to that? Do we have you had good experiences with caudillos? Have you had bad experiences with them? Should we choose another caudillo? What's your opinion on that?
If you think in Lee Kuan Yew, for example, in Singapore, he's a caudillo. He did it. And sometimes in a country with a very difficult problems, with a very disorder uh, situation, sometimes a strong leadership could help. That's not really common, because in Latin America, a lot of caudillos, oh, disaster, just disaster. Videla, Pinochet, no, a lot of dictatorships, a lot of people leading the countries with the military, and killing killing their opposition leaders. Now, really bad experiences in Latin America. No, nobody in Latin America with strong leadership did a good job. Chavez, for example, he's a disaster in Venezuela. He he create a poor people from oil a oil country, an oil country. He create a poor country. That's unbelievable. And he was a caudillo. Then, bad experience in Venezuela. In Argentina, they had a Perón, other caudillo. Bad, really bad experience. Argentina was a very strong country ago, and right now it's a poor people, because caudillismo, because they create a big state, a big government. They just spend more money that the money that they produce, and now Argentina is in a big crisis. And you can continue talking about a lot of caudillos and really bad experiences, really bad development of their countries. And I think that the best option is a, a group of leadership like Uruguay with Frente Amplio, with Mujica and Tabay Vázquez and Danilo Astori. These three people create a strong group with a leadership, with a group of you. And Uruguay, in 15 years, they did very good. And now Uruguay is one of the best countries in Latin America. For the other for the other side, Chile with Concertación. with a big coalition of four, like no, they had four presidents after the military dictatorship of Pinochet. They had four presidents, and they did a good job. And it was a big coalition, no caudillismo, no strong leadership of of just one person. No, they had a group. They have a leadership, a group of little leadership, and they did a good job. And Chile become the best country in economy in the last 20 years. Right now they are passing a bad time because they had this social implosion. But I think that it wasn't real. I think that this social revolution with the subway just on fire, I think that maybe we have criminal hands, uh, besides with the in this thing. I think that they are like a very very bad plan to create this chaos in Chile, to try to become this right to this free market country in a socialist view country. And I think it's very very difficult, but the idea is to understand that Chile did a really good job with no caudillismo, with four good presidents in a group, in a leadership with a group of you. And Uruguay did well too with this Frente Amplio political movement. And Colombia had a caudillo, Uribe, did well 2 or 3 years, but after that, he was very authoritarian, and the falsos positivos. He wanted to won the war with the guerrilla, but with a very very bad strategies. Almost 6,000 young people, innocent young people, die for these ideas to won the war, killing people. Very very, very difficult topic. Maybe in other time we can talk about that. It's very sad to talk about
Definitely.
this, but that's the point. It's the best option. It's democracy. The best option is good leaders, a group of leaders, a group of leadership, not a caudillo. I don't like caudillos. Not a good option in Latin America.
Cool. So, two more questions to wrap this up. Who do you think is most likely to win the election? And tell us why people should vote or look up your preferred candidate. Give us like a sales pitch of your favorite candidate.
Um, Now, very difficult to do a forecast because a lot of things happening right now, a lot of changes in the coalitions. But if if Sergio Fajardo could be could be free of these accusations, I think that he could be the president right now. I think that this allegation with against him, these accusations against him, could help him if, of course, if he can surpass this, he could be the president. Or in the right, there is a very interesting candidate. I don't like him a lot, but he has a very good option. Is Federico Gutierrez in this option. And unfortunately, the populist and the former guerrilla criminal has option two. For me, the election right now is in these three people. And if Fajardo couldn't couldn't be safe, couldn't pass these accusations, maybe Alejandro Gaviria could have a good surprise. Maybe he can hit the table and could have all this strength for the coalition, and he can join the people with him. Maybe he could be the surprise of this election.
Interesting, interesting. Hopefully, next year, maybe a month before the elections, we can do like a follow up stream. Because I know it's a little early to call. Obviously, there's still a lot of dynamism and a lot of movement going on. People are going to this coalition, that coalition, people dropping out, people coming in. Obviously, we're still months out from the election. So hopefully, if we're able to, we'll do a follow up part two stream once the fog has been cleared out a bit, so to speak, and then we see, okay, who are the actual candidates, on the ballot type of things. And so yeah, so tell us why people should vote for your preferred candidate. Give us your best reasons to vote for him.
Okay, first thing, I don't have a candidate. I have a group of candidates, and I think that that's the best thing. Not to vote for a person, to vote for a project, to vote for a vision, to vote for a view to see your country when where do you want to be, where your country must be, how. And I think this view of this group is the best. A collective, not collectivism, a collective view, a collective leadership, a group of people with good experience in government and in ministers, and I think that that's one of the best things. The second is that they believe in the free market. They believe in entrepreneurship, to create a lot of companies, to help the young people to create companies, to develop a strong market with a lot of options. I think that is great. This is the most important thing for me: freedom, a free market, and a leadership with no aggression, with no violence, transform my country in a honest and legal country. We have to be different. And Colombia has a very sad thing, is that the people in Colombia with a lot of difficulties, sometimes the Colombian people go for the criminal option, go for the illegal option, and we have to avoid that. Challenging the education, transforming the culture of the country to a more honest culture, to a more legal culture, to a people that believe in themselves and believe in to do the right thing. And that's the other reason that I believe that this group, this coalition of the Esperanza, is the good option, is the way to do it. I think that Colombia other needs other culture, other view of the way to see the things. And I think that the honesty and the legal view that's the answer.
I definitely agree with you on the free markets thing because I've talked to a lot of people who aren't Colombian or who weren't raised in Colombia, who think that Colombia is a sort of like wild west capitalist country where like I don't even know why they think that, and I have to let them know, like, no, our economic freedom is very low. It's not easy to start a business. It's not easy to continue having a business because of all the taxes and regulations and all that type of thing. And people like to make some really dumb accusations about you when you say that, but they just don't understand the political and economic reality that is living here. And I try telling these people, see, like for example, BHJ says, "My free markets, blah blah." It's like, hey, homie, you try living in Colombia and try living an honest, wage in Colombia. And see, he even says your protectionism is the way. Look, why can't we have free trade with Peru or Brazil or that type of thing? I mean, we're literally next door. There's no reason to have that type of thing. But I'll have a discussion with him later. So I definitely like that you touched on that. So for all you people that say that, oh, we need economic nationalism in Colombia, blah blah, no, okay, that we've had that for a long time and it hasn't worked. Okay, trust me, guys, it has not worked. But Richie, I really thank you for coming in. I think that's all the questions that I had to ask you. I don't know if you want to say anything else, wrap things up. We're just about an hour in. I don't want to waste more of your time here.
No, it was quite interesting, really, really interesting to talk about Colombia, to try to explain Colombian political things with language and the concepts and the terminology in use it in the states. Very very interesting experience, and I think that free markets are the clue, are very successful in the world when the countries with a big government, with a big state, they transform their economy to a free market economy. They change Estonia, Russia, a lot of countries create a very good economy with this liberalization of the economy, creating options, creating companies, developing the ideas of the people. Then I think Colombia is not a free market economy. A lot of people, a lot of people think that Colombia is, it's like savage capitalism. That's not true. In Colombia, it's very difficult to create a company. It's very difficult to go to the market. We have a lot of taxes, and we have a lot of monopolies, and that's one of the things that we don't find that in a free market economy. We want something like the Mittelstand in Germany. A lot of little companies, a lot of medium companies, not a big one just controlling the market. No, we want a lot of micro and little companies, creating a good ecosystem of production and articulating with other companies and creating good products and good services and goodwill. That's the point. And Colombia needs an effort. Colombia needs like somebody pushing Colombia to this free market economy. I think that it's going to be very difficult, and because the candidate with a good approval rate, it's totally against that. He wants protectionism in the economy. He wants a lot of taxes, and he just wants to have a big state with everything, with or a lot of things public. And we already know what happened with that kind of ideologies. Hey man, it was a pleasure. Very very. Thank you very much for this experience, and we have to do a spin-off. We have a lot of other things to talk.
Hey man, thank you for coming. And I'm telling you right now, from this stream alone, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna want to debate you because I have a lot of very, very reactionary people up here in my audience. Because I'm more of a right wing kind of guy. Obviously, we're gonna disagree on the social aspects quite a bit. We definitely agree on the free market thing. So I'll see if anyone's interested in talking to you because I know you're gonna como dicen en español, va a dar mucho culo ahorita con lo que dijo ahorita. Because a lot of people are going to be seething. It's going to be an interesting one, but
Very interesting.
definitely.
Very interesting. I'm going to wait for that people in Richi Zuluaga, my Twitter account.
My man making people seethe on Twitter and now on YouTube. But yeah, guys, thank you for coming. You got Richi's Twitter over here if you want to follow him. He's definitely the guy that makes the leftists the most mad. I've like literally every single mamerto that I know of hates you like with a passion. That's kind of funny actually. Like they literally say like, "Oh, Rich is just a motherfucking crazy ass." Like he's like a crypto uribista. Like everyone's getting called an uribista nowadays. It's like hilarious.
Weird,
Uh,
weird because I'm not a Uribista, and I love with these radical ideas. Just fighting with me, and he's just spelling me garbage or shit. I think that for me is good, because if somebody like them, that they want to destroy my country, they want to destroy the economy, they want to destroy the social stability with just populism. If they are hating me, if they are if they are putting a lot of effort to put bad things in my Twitter, okay, welcome. Because I just wanna fight for a better country. I just wanna fight for a free country. And somebody with this ideology to create a bigger state, a bigger government. I think that it's gonna be a failure. It's gonna be disaster. We know that. We already know that the socialism is not working. The progressism is not working. These big states, big governments, it's not working in the world. Then if you want that for my country, then you are saying that you want the destruction of the economy of my country. And if you are gonna hate me, welcome. Because I don't want the hate. I don't want the hate. I don't want to hate. I don't want hate this hate speech in my country. But if somebody that want to destroy my country, destroy the economy of my country, is hating me right now, okay, you're welcome to fight in my TL Twitter, Richi Zuluaga.
Richie loves his haters, man. So this is part one of the mini series, guys. I'm gonna have different perspective as well. We're gonna have a right wing perspective. I'm still not sure who I'm gonna talk to regarding that. Left wing perspective. Hopefully, I'll be able to bring Juliana to that one. The abstentionist perspective. So no voting. That's gonna be Checho, and I might make my own version of, hey, who's Klaus gonna vote for? So that's gonna be really interesting. I'm integrating all the Twitter Colombians that I know over here to YouTube, because we gotta make connections. We gotta keep talking to each other. We can't just be in these bubbles. Just I'm in this social media, that social media. We gotta start talking more between each other. But thank you very much, guys. We're gonna end it here, and hopefully y'all have a good one. God bless. Peace.
Bye bye.